My guest today is Edwin Mata. Edwin is the CEO and co-founder of Brickken, which is a fascinating looking, I guess, like tokenization suite for real world assets, a few other things as well. There's a lot going on. We'll learn all about this today. But first up, a welcome to the show, Edwin.
Thank you very much for having me, Andy. It's a pleasure to be here to be discussing tokenization and whatever comes.
Yes, indeed. Pleasure to have you here, Edwin. Let's do what we do at the beginning of the show. It would be cool if you could please introduce yourself. Be great to hear some of your professional and personal backstory. What have you been doing in the lead up to co-founding Brickken?
Yes, so Edwin Mata, CEO, co-founder of Brickken. I started my journey as an M&A lawyer, so I was very on the corporate side of things, so restructuring of companies. And in 2018, stumbled upon the tech side of things, and obviously the blockchain. So that's when I started getting intrigued about what was this new tech, what was being developed, and why. And for me, it started making sense that definitely there was some financial innovation here. And in 2020, decided to give it a shot as to how we can optimize assets on chain, financial instruments, debt, equity. And 4 years later, here we are building up Brickken and scaling up and making a name for ourselves.
Fantastic. So, yeah, it's about tokenization. Tell us, give us, I guess, a little bit of the high level vision then for what Brickken is, Edwin, who it's for, different use cases, and then, well, we can explore some of those use cases. But yeah, Brickken, what is it?
So our whole journey has embarked where we have embarked is about lowering the barrier of entry to the tokenization space, right? So it's complex. People don't really understand how it has to be performed, what is it about. So we decided to create a software as a service solution for companies to be able to onboard through a great user experience for the digitization of the assets. So we got real estate companies, we got startups looking for funding, we got even restaurants, franchises. We're all over the floor just because an asset is an asset for us. So what we give to the world is this software, so any company in any geographic location can grab it and start tokenizing in themselves and complete the journey for whatever they want to do, capitalization, or is it just for transferring the asset and whatnot? I mean, that's what we provide them, that solution on a one stop.
Yeah, so you're exactly right. So on the front page of your website, very simply, it says what can be tokenized, and you go through some of the different sectors, verticals, whatever you want to call it. You've got real estate, tokenization, startups, franchises, institutions, entertainment, IP. So there's quite a broad spectrum of tokenization opportunities available to people out there. Do you want to maybe just pick one or two and kind of I guess focus on them as use cases, Edwin, and just walk us through the process as to how a company or individual would want to do this, why they would approach you,
Absolutely.
and yeah, what the benefits would be for them.
Absolutely. So, I mean, there's a reason why at the market level we're seeing a lot of real estate organization because it's the simplest form of education as to why we do fractionalization, lower barrier of entry. People can invest with 100 euros. So, if a real estate promoter wants to generate capital in order to perform their unique selling points, so if a promoter wants to build a building or they want to do a flip of the house and they want to go for alternative finance, they can tokenize that kind of like benefit, right? So they say they want 1 million, they can go to the retail market or the blockchain or various players and say like, hey, I need the money, and with 100 euros you can enter or more. But the thing is, with that lower of entry, he starts amounting money to perform his job. So instead of going to one, two, three family offices or the bank themselves, now this is a new funding opportunity. That's the tokenization. And because it can be debt, so I'm asking for a loan, or it's because my company is tokenizing the equity, so you become a shareholder with me. Well, I provide back the revenue stream, a benefit, an interest, or a dividend, depends on what we're doing. So it's a new form of capitalization. We can say crowdfunding even, where one person company can directly go to the market and request for funds. So there's no intermediary, fees get lower. You can now get funds from across the globe. You're not geographically blocked to just have to operate in your same country, your same community. You can shoot marketing to other types of the world where you think you can get new retail investors. So it opens up the Pandora box. Kind of like we're always used to capitalizing in the same way through 1 through 3 VCs or family offices or bank or financial institutions. And now we're like mixing a lot of different interested parties. So that's why real estate makes a lot of sense. And that's kind of like why we're seeing a lot of it. But for me, my favorite one is funds. I think fund management has to do a lot on the tokenization because when you go and create a fund, you have to go with different liquidity partners who it's now you can spread as well. You can make it more efficient and you can obtain capital at a faster rate. So there's a lot of benefits in tokenization, and that's why we're seeing even the big funds jumping in, the BlackRock, the Fidelity, the whatever, because it provides a lot of efficiency. And efficiency is fee reduction, which in the end is making more money for the fund itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Where are you guys based? You're based in Europe, I think. So maybe just talk us through, yeah, how it works in terms of the different jurisdictions that can, I suppose, work with Brickken. How does that play out, Edwin?
Yes, so our HQ is in Barcelona. We obviously are a bit decentralized. We have members abroad, and we are software. It is our we provide the solution for our clients to tokenize, and if they issue a security or a certain part of utility, they have to comply from the point of issuance. But they don't have to come through me because I'm just pure technology. I'm a dashboard, I'm a funnel, I'm a simplification of tokenization. And if they're in Australia, they can grab my tech and say, like, hey, I'm going to deploy this security or this debt in Australia. They will have to comply with the jurisdiction in Australia. And as I know, that's also a burden. We have partners, a lot of law firms, and right now we have above 150 law firms across the globe. That if a client comes and requests the tokenization from a specific country, we give them also the partner, the legal partner who can help them. So I'm a tech layer, and on top, the service layer is done through our curated list. And that's how I believe that we can help not just with the tech, but also with great service providers who can help them in their tokenization journey.
Yeah, very well said. Best way to do it, Edwin. Look, you talked a little bit about real estate, and I suppose, yeah, it's easy to see why a real estate is one of the kind of the first sectors that is just ripe for tokenization. What comes next? What are the other sectors? I know there are a few, but do you see are there people that are wanting to explore the Brickken platform for various tokenization purposes? What other sectors are you talking with?
Yeah, so I mean, I think the journey of tokenization, we went through the first and best case still, tokenization of money. That's why stablecoins created. They created a digitized version. Then we saw a lot of treasury bills, which is still very, very used. So a lot of high-end bonds, real estate debt, not real estate debt, estate country debt, and now it's in riskier, kind of like private markets, which is kind of like a company issuing debt for whatever reason. And we're starting to I start understanding how this can work. That's opening opportunities also for the companies looking for funding. So our client base is very, very diverse because in the end, we have a software that allows them to capitalize or try to obtain funds or try to manage their investors pool and do all of these things. So in the end, what company in this world doesn't look for funding? Very few. They'll first sustainable, but now everybody is looking for the scale option, the maintenance, the using the money of the markets to fulfill their journeys. So we obviously don't only have real estate. We have uh, agriculture, of course, minerals, of course, technological companies, renewable energies. We're all over the scope and the spectrum, but not because we just looking or shooting whatever. It's because companies looking for this funding alternative are looking for solutions such as the one we provide.
Yeah, Very well said. And look, as the world wakes up to the tokenization opportunity, there are a number of other companies like you offering similar services. So, how would you say that Brickken, as I guess, like a token suite platform, how do you go about differentiating yourself from other tokenization platforms? What's some of the, I guess, secret sauce that Brickken offers?
Yeah, so without a single doubt, user experience. We managed to create something that adjusts for various types of people. We started as a Web2 company. We come from Web2 companies themselves. I come from being an M&A corporate lawyer, so you can imagine my tech journey was not as straight as other people. So I had to really use tools that I work high in and I didn't really fully comprehend. So I thought of myself and my teams as well as to how we can create something for that kind of people who really don't speak tech. They don't care how it works. They just want to have one click, one solution. So when we started from the Web2, we pivoted into Web3. We saw the complexities, the wallet signing, the custodial self-custody, all of these things. So the first model that we had is you can have great know-how, you can have the legal background, you can have all of that. But the only thing that matters to create a great product is you have to think of your client experience. If you can fulfill a journey that they feel comfortable and they understand and they don't have to call you to ask you how it works, then that's where you can have an opportunity of succeeding in the market. And so far, we have been building on top of that user experience, on top of that. So yes, they are competitors, but where we excel is to providing that opportunity, not just to the Web3 people, not just to the Web2 people. We're applying to both niches, capturing the best from one ecosystem, and then supplying it to our clients.
Yeah, got it. Got it. Makes sense. One of the problems, I suppose, with as much as there are so many people around the world that are really interested and fascinated by the tokenization opportunity. You kind of alluded it to yourself, and that people must, make sure that they are in compliance with the local rules, laws, regulations in their own home jurisdictions. How confident are you that, obviously different places around the world, some are ahead, some are behind. It's kind of a constantly moving landscape. How confident are you that, eventually there'll be just maybe a little bit more of a series of perhaps global frameworks that just make it a little bit easier for different jurisdictions to speak to each other, if you like, and for these opportunities to be a bit smoother?
Absolutely. I mean, the flow of information has improved itself by 1,000 times, right? So we go from telephone to internet to 24/7 access. And the more information flows, the more it is. Now we don't even sometimes have to read the full regulation. So somebody from, I'm going to make an example just because from Bulgaria can read the Japanese new regulation, send it to ChatGPT, get the summary, and get some ideas as to what is happening. So the access of information fulfills the journey of the person to try to understand what is happening abroad, why are they regulating a certain way, communications have excelled. So with all of this, what I'm trying to say is regulators are also understanding that tech is in their favor and try to understand like technology will always move at a faster rate. It happens in all sectors. Now AI is kind of like super advanced. They're trying to regulate as well. But they're making the journey themselves to say, like, hey, we really need to not be a stopper. We really need to protect the consumer, but how can we enable them? So themselves, by the use of technology, they're already entering. So right now we're like, let's say probably Gen Z, Gen X, or whatever, when they become the regulators themselves, this is not going to be a journey of fear because regulators right now, they were born in the same way that I was born, connected through a telephone line and getting a 56K modem where we barely had access. New generations, they can know everything on the palm of their hand and they know that since they're kids. So it is about to happen.
Yeah, interesting, interesting. I'm sure that's the case as those demographic switches play out. There's a token, of course. So the Brickken token, Edwin, yeah, it's the BKN token. So the token fueling Bricken's real world asset tokenization platform. Yeah, just explain how the token works and what the role of the token is in the ecosystem.
Yes, of course. So it's for paying the gas transactions inside our ecosystem. So it fulfills the journey of paying the different functionalities of the token suite, providing incentives for investors to jump in opportunities, and creating a community. So we just learn from the market what they want. Basically, we understood that gas fees was elemental for utilities, but also now the community, the governance, kind of like that journey of providing the potential investors into something they believe, it can be added, no? It comes from the loyalty points. That's how you generate engagement and customer access to your products. So we are just mixing tech with previous know-how, but it all comes from Web2 actually. So we understand that and we're like, okay, utilities. So it's providing access, it's providing payments, it's providing voting, it's providing references, and that's how we created the token itself. And that's why I believe we're doing quite well, because we were able to amass a community engagement and it fulfills our clients' journeys. So we do have proper utility.
Got it. Thank you, Edwin. I was looking through your Twitter and I noticed a tweet that you sent maybe 1 or 2 days ago, Edwin. You wrote that we are getting ready for what will be remembered as June Juggernaut. The marketing department is not letting me tag. I told them I am sorry, but I am too hyped not to tweet. Tokenization. Yeah, this is a mysterious tweet, Edwin. Please explain.
Yeah, so we're not live, I guess. So this is probably gonna be posted after tomorrow, right?
Yes, it will. Yes, it will be. It's
Okay,
June
so this is gonna be
June
very
13 as we
interesting. All right,
record. Yeah, but it won't be posted
all right.
until next week. So yeah, so you can spill the beans.
All right. So we've been working very closely with regulators. When we were in Spain, we accessed the Spanish sandbox ecosystem. So we were developing our technology alongside the Spanish regulator, the Spanish SEC, the Spanish commissioner, and the Bank of Spain, because we were doing something very weird. We were allowing companies to issue their own securities with middleman, access directly a pool of investors. And that was kind of like weird. Completely legal, completely new. So that's what we applied, right? So that happened 2022. And that was a great journey for us. In 2024, our general counsel applied for the European sandbox. So we went from the Spanish one to the European DLT regime, where we are going to be testing the tokenization of different aspects. So funds, utility token to equity token, what is the complexity of software providers and us. And we're doing this hand to hand with great players. So we have this is kind of like the amazing thing. We're gonna be partnering up for this journey with Coinbase Institutional. So we're gonna be learning the both of us. They're gonna bring their great know-how, and then we're gonna see with the regulators. We also have another a DeFi protocol called Stallion, and then we're also gonna test with a client of us. They also got in their own, but they're also gonna be testing part of us with Hacken. So we were able to amass this kind of like different Web3. So we got Coinbase Institutional, which is already benchmarked by itself. We got the DeFi guild. We got the auditing security provider who did something in the tokenization that I still talk about with, and then we can talk about utility to equity and us as the infra provider. And we're all gonna go before the European Union to test this kind of like innovation, sit down with them and get the conversation going. So myself as a lawyer, being able to sit down with the decision makers at that level, it's kind of like that's why I'm excited. Maybe other people will say like, "Oh, that sounds boring," but we're gonna be sitting with the minds that create the regulations, so that's gonna give us a better scope as to where we have to target and how we have to move because tokenization is happening. So there goes the tweet. That's the explanation behind the tweet. Pure excitement on my side because this is great.
I love it. I love it. Yes. Thank you, Edwin. Very well explained. And so, when does that all happen? That's happening across the next month or so. Is that right?
Yes, so tomorrow it gets officialized, so the 13th, when people read it, we will become already official.
Yep.
And then the testing takes from September to January. So over 4 months, we're gonna be talking with various regulators across Europe, understanding how they see securities, how they see tokenization, why yes, why not. And all of that is going to end up becoming best practices. So all the learning curve, also the regulators are going to go through us hand to hand with very deep blockchain, crypto people. We're not just using the ledger for immutability. We're actually embedding smart contracts and making things happen. It all comes out into our best practices that hopefully we make our mark in the journey for tokenization.
Fantastic. Well, I think, yeah, it'd be fascinating to see what comes out of that journey, Edwin. I'm sure there'll be some learnings, some best practices for, yeah, the entire industry really to potentially follow. So that is excellent news. Pleased to hear it. Just as we finish up this part of the podcast, Edwin, for anyone listening and they're thinking, well, let's have a look at the Brickken tokenization suite. Perhaps they're interested in those kind of opportunities. What is the best place for people to go and learn more, potentially get engaged? What should they do? Where should they go?
Absolutely. So, I mean, we're very active on socials. Obviously, the website, www.bricken.com. We have a lot of different things, tutorials, academy to be a user. But if you want to be more active and learn about us, obviously, we are big in Twitter and in our Telegram. We always there with our community. We have spaces, AMA. We bring other builders in the RWA space. So that's why we feel our educators. We really fulfilling our journey that we need to onboard this new mass. And we're always telling people that, tokenization is not just a trend. And the reasons are A, B, C. And we hope that we can fulfill that. So people who come with us, they also enjoy, not just a company, not just a token, but trying to understand what's about to come.
Awesome. Thank you, Edwin. Link, of course, is in the show notes as well, folks. But the website, yeah, bricken.com. I think what we do now, Edwin, is we finish up the podcast by running you through the very famous crypto conversation hot take round. Are you up for it?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go, Edwin. Just going to run some questions at you. I just want you to give me your honest answers, hot take style. Question one for you is, where would you say that you sit on the Bitcoin maximalist to multi-chain opportunist spectrum?
Multi-chain opportunities, 100%.
Absolutely. I thought you might say that. That is all good. What would you say then, Edwin, is your firmest conviction crypto opinion?
Okay, Ethereum. I'm a maxi Ethereum because of smart contracts, and I think smart contracts are the evolution of financials. So I'm not in the game for crypto. I mean in for the actual infrastructure. I think that's gonna be the evolution of everything. Not even AI. I think the running on rails of blockchain is gonna change the world.
I love it. All right. Edwin, Bill Gates famously said that we tend to overestimate what we can accomplish in 2 years and underestimate what we can accomplish in 10. With that in mind, Brickken tokenization, what does it look like in 10 years' time?
Tokenizing 1 trillion. So we're on the journey there and understanding our scope of continuous building and evolution. So yes, we will be helping in getting the tokenized of trillions.
I like it. All right. William Gibson, sci-fi author, he famously said, Edwin, that the future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed. With that in mind, can you think of an example of the future being here right now, but most people aren't aware of it?
Yes, absolutely. Cross-border payments. I'm Mexican, United States, sending a lot of money from Mexican people to Mexico. They still use this old legacy technology where they lose a lot of money. But if they understood how powerful crypto is, that they can send $1,000 without losing $1,000, then a lot of money will safely come back home to the relatives that we like. So cross-border payments is here, and not a lot of people understand how to effectively use it.
Yeah, absolutely true. All right. Brings us to our final question, Edwin, which is, what is your favorite science fiction? A book, a film, or TV show?
Oh wow, movie, yes. I'm a fan of The Matrix. I don't know if it's too cliche, but that was like I don't know where we're living, but it sounds a lot of real, right?
Yeah, it's the Matrix is never a too cliche an answer, and the Matrix, in fact, yeah, one of the all-time great sci-fi films, and always just so relevant with the different layers of everything from living in the Matrix to simulation theory, and
Yeah.
yeah, is the world an illusion? Yeah, shout out to the Matrix. Hey, look, this was fun, Edwin. Thank you so much for coming on the show and spending some time with us today. Just to finish up, please shout out your Twitter profile or wherever else you like to hang out online. And again, just direct people where they should go to take advantage of the tokenization opportunity via the Brickken platform.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so whoever wants to learn more about what I think about the current state of the art in tokenization, follow me on Twitter, which is EDWMATA, and that's my handle, Edwin Mata, and happy to jump into chats or comments and see where we go. Thank you for that.
Awesome. Thank you, Edwin. All the best, and bye for now.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. There was Edwin from Brickken Token Tokenization. Yes, indeed. Thank you for watching, team. Thank you for listening. We reached the end of another episode. This was the Crypto Conversation for Brave New Coin. Bye for now.